once? Wow.
Were you expecting this?
Shut up. You're having twins?
Twins? Well, I guess that means double trouble.
So you're going to need 2 of everything?
Top of the morning, friends. If I sound just so calm, cool, and relaxed and collected on this podcast, that's because I'm coming to you live from our Babymoon. If you tuned into the last episode, we were back and forth on where we should go, when we should do it, how long. We're last minute people. We ended up in gorgeous, cold, overcast northern Michigan. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's raining outside. It's 55 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm in this big comfy bed. I'm in a robe. I'm watching seagulls out my window. Big old waves. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm here for. I'm done with summer. I realize we're still in June, but I'm done with it. I could not be happier that we escaped to somewhere cold, hoping the rain leaves, but this is amazing. We're going to get to all the Babymoon details later, but I had to just say, if you're still on the fence about booking one, this is your sign, ladies. Go book it. I never understood why couples with kids went on vacation, and when I'd ask them how it was, they were like, good, we went to bed every night at 8 o'clock. We watched a movie in bed. We drank coffee in bed. I'm like, that sounds so boring. Like, get out of bed. You're on vacation. Find the hotspot restaurant. Go dancing. Try a cool new cocktail. Nope, I get it now, friends. I get it. All I wanted to do this morning, well, we watched Dirty Dancing in bed last night. All I wanted to do this morning was wake up, have a hot oat milk latte in bed, turn on CNN News, told my husband, I love you, go for a run, baby, do your thing, take your time, and just chill. So I get it now. I'm officially on the other side. I don't care about hot, cool restaurants anymore. I didn't go dancing last night. I'm just excited to be in bed without my son. I do miss him, but it was pretty nice waking up to no bottles, no dirty diapers, nothing. Just my husband and I. All right, friends, we are 25 weeks pregnant right now. We had our growth scan last week. We also did our diabetes test, which I also touched on the last episode. Oh, I'm so happy to say I passed the diabetes test. Everyone's like, why were you so worried? We knew you were going to pass it. I didn't. Like I said, I have a sweet tooth. I have been trying to be a little bit better at it, but then I kind of go into that, screw it. This is the last time you're going to be pregnant. Just eat it. Who cares mode. But the doctor literally called while we were driving to the airport and was like, congratulations, you passed your diabetes test. So hopefully, I think I passed it with such flying colors, so to speak, that I don't have to do another one at our 28-week appointment. If I do, I do, whatever. But this means mama can indulge in all the sweets on the Babymoon. We also did the growth scan. I had to do this one at the hospital again. I had to do it because at our 20-week anatomy scan, you know, they have to clear so many different things that they're looking for. If you want more details about that, go listen to the 20-week episode. But they didn't clear the boys' spines on the anatomy scan. She said, again, I don't think there's anything wrong. It's just really hard with twins to get everything done in 2 hours. So I had that last week. She saw the spines. She also said they're good to go. Happy to say they are still head down, which I thought one of them body surfed his way right on up and his head was right underneath my left boob, because one night I had this really weird pain where it felt like, oh, okay, someone's flipping and changing direction, but they're listening to mama. Again, I just keep telling them, boys, all the action's down there. No need to come up here. No need to take a look up here. Everything's gonna happen down there. That's where the party's at. I have a little song I even sing to them, which I'm not gonna sing it on here, but I remind them every day to keep their heads down. Disappointed to say that the littler one still snuck his way further down the canal, the chamber, whatever you want to call it, which is not ideal. They want the bigger one to be head down first so that when he comes out, the bigger one, the second one, who's littler, has like all the room he needs, as opposed to the little guy coming and then the big guy getting stuck. So, yeah, I'm going to be working on that. I don't really know how much this is working by me talking to them every day and already giving them directions on where I'd like them to be, how I'd like them to exit, how this whole thing's going to go. But hey, it worked with my son Jude, whether it was me manifesting it, speaking it out loud, or just straight up God intervening. So I'm just going to keep doing that and just hope that the little guy, I don't know, maybe he sneaks his little butt up to do a little somersault or something, and the big guy's like, boom, and he makes his way down. I met another doctor at the hospital where I did both the 20-week anatomy scan and the 24-week growth scan. She specializes in delivering the second baby if they flip and become breached. Meeting this woman, I'm kind of fascinated by her. The way she was speaking, I kid you not, I didn't understand 90% of the terminology she was using. I couldn't spell 110% of the words she was saying. I was a little flattered that she thought I would have a single clue what she was talking about when she was using this terminology, which I can't even repeat because I don't know it. But she is friendly with my doctor, and she said, I'll make a note in your chart. If you do decide you want to still try a natural birth, possibly I can be there as well in case that second baby flips, so you're not having to deal with an emergency C-section. So we're going to get to birth plans a little bit later in this episode, but it was nice meeting her. I was like, wow, that's so cool. I want to be someone who's sitting at a bar having a cocktail and someone leans over and says, what do you do? And I say, oh, I specialize in the delivery of the second twin baby to shoot out when he or she becomes breached and I have to pull them out by their feet. I mean, badass. Like, more power to you. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I'm glad that I met her. And I feel a little bit like, okay, I got one more person in my corner now. I did kind of bring it up to my doctor when I saw her the day after the growth scan. And she said, let's talk about it. Let's just keep watching to see how things go. Because in reality, this could all change if both babies decide one day that they change their mind and the party's up top and they're sick of being head down. Then we don't even need to be discussing this. So this is very typical Abigail, though. I'm so last minute with some things, and then I'm so ahead of the ball with other things. I'm already yeah, this is just typical Abigail. So I have to remind myself to just take a deep breath, go with the flow. Let's see what happens. And yeah, let's just see what happens. I don't probably need 3 doctors in the room, 6 nurses, a doula, a midwife, my husband, my second cousin once removed. I probably don't need all these people. So this is a reminder to myself, Abigail, chill out. Let's just see what happens. All right, this episode, I titled it the 3 B's. We got the baby moon, the baby shower, and then the birth plan. We are in northern Michigan. We kind of decided to make the baby moon a little bit of, okay, let's visit family, mixed with a little bit of I trust my sister more than anything, and I knew she would be fine to take care of my son while we went away for 2 days. So that's what we did. I will post some stuff on Instagram for Northern Michigan if you're at all interested, but I'm hesitant to even talk about the town we're in and where we flew in and how wonderful it's been, because I want to keep this place a little secret hidden gem, but I also want to share it because I think it's a great place to go if you're like me and you just want to avoid the heat and you want to get out of town. So we flew into Traverse City. It's a tiny town up in northern Michigan. They have the cutest dang airport in the world. There's literally 4 gates. It's so sweet. I'm not used to tiny airports. I'm used to huge cities and massive airports where I swear I always meet every person checking you in, taking your bags, boarding the flight that's had the worst day. I don't know what it is, but This little airport is so cute and tiny. Everybody is so sweet and nice. Being pregnant, I've barely lifted a finger. I will say that I was supposed to fly here by myself, have a few days with my sister and her family, and then my husband was supposed to meet me. The night before, I went into full on panic mode. I was like, I was bringing my son with me, and we did not buy him a seat, so he was going to be on my lap. I was like, nope. I became real sassy, real rude to my husband. I feel bad, babe. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry. I know I was a sassafras. I've already said that to you, but I am finding that as we're getting further in this pregnancy, like I'm having a little bit more anxiety about things. My mobility is like, I won't say it's like limited right now, but I'm big. Like, truthfully, as expected, I'm sure you feel the same way. We're carrying twins. My stomach is like, boom, boom, baby is popped. It's there. So I started to have anxiety about how am I truthfully going to fit my son, who's a beast. He's literally a beast on my lap. The flight was direct, 2.5 hours. What if he cries? How do I rock him? Like, how do I do all this with this huge belly? What if I don't sit next to someone that's kind? How do I go to the bathroom? Do I bring him with me and hold him while I go to the bathroom? Okay, how do I get my stroller closed while holding my son? Like all these things, they just kept me up the night before, and I kind of went into stress mode, and I'm really bad about asking for help in advance. I'm not great about that. I'm really working on it, but when I start to get anxiety, I'm very independent. I'm very much like, nope, I can do it all. I've always been a super independent traveler. Like, I've traveled to other countries by myself. I've done crazy hikes in Iceland by myself. And I'm realizing since I became a mom and I have a son and now being pregnant with twins, I'm not as independent. Like, I just physically cannot be as independent. Mentally, I can't be either. I find I'm drained more often. I'm a little more anxious because I'm not just taking care of myself, right? I'm taking care of myself, two babies inside of me, and then my son as well. So sometimes even just the little things like going to the park, it's not that big of a deal, right? You go to the park, you get the stroller out, you load your son, you put him in the swing, you bring the snacks, blah, blah, blah. That is just even becoming harder for me right now. If my son starts crying and I have to carry him, like my back's killing me. And I hate this part of this pregnancy, I will say. Part of me feels like my poor son is just not getting all the attention and all the love that he needs from me because I just physically can't crawl on the ground right now. I can't throw him up in the air. And I just was like, I don't think I can do this flight alone. So I became a sassafras. I just like went upstairs, went to bed. I woke up the next morning. I didn't really sleep great because, of course, I had anxiety about the flight, but I just kept being like, of course, God's going to help me. He's going to put someone wonderful next to me. I got this like wonderful travel stroller from my mom. My mom actually bought it for my son to have a stroller at her house that I will put on my story. I cannot recommend this thing enough. It collapses and goes in the overhead bin. Like, game changer, and it's also pretty lightweight. So anyways, I was like, okay, I can do this. I'll figure it all out, blah, blah, blah. And I woke up and my husband started putting stuff in a suitcase. And I was like, what are you doing? And he said, I'm coming with you. So God bless you, babe. That was such a nice surprise. It was such a nice treat. We were only going to be together for a few days, and we ended up getting a full week up in northern Michigan. There's so many wonderful towns up there. Charlevoix, Petoskey, two great, wonderful towns right on Lake Michigan. We were so fortunate that the first 2 days we were here, we had 90 some degree weather, and then it dropped down, and now we've been in the 60s. I love that. I've been able to take long walks with my son without sweating, look at seashells, skip scones. Wow, already thinking of sweets, clearly. Skip stones. It's been really nice. Then my husband and I decided to go a little bit further north, and we are on Mackinac Island. It's this sweet little island, a couple hours from Traverse City, about 3 hours or so, maybe a little bit more, that has no cars. It only has horses and bikes. So you park over in Mackinac city. You take a ferry. It's a short ferry ride. It's 15 minutes. If you get seasick, I really wouldn't worry about that. It's the shortest, little, sweetest, cutest ferry ride, and you can see land at all times. You get on this little island. We got here yesterday. We tried to take it kind of, midday ferry, so we had the whole day to explore. And it's kind of like paradise. You feel like you're really back in the olden days since there are no cars. And truthfully, you see horses dragging, like, I don't really speak this language. This is going to, like, there's a big cart behind them, and they're carrying, like, food and drinks and toilet paper, and they're bringing them to all these little various hotels and restaurants, and that's really, really cool. The entire island is 8.2 miles. They have bikes that you can rent. That ain't happening for this mama. Like, I am way too big to be getting on a bike. I don't even have any interest in getting in an e-bike right now. I'm sure, ladies, you feel the same way. Like, I got enough going on down there. The last thing I need is to be sitting on, like, a hard bike. Nope, I'm good. It was kind of funny when we were crossing the ferry over. Like, I didn't really think about that part, being this pregnant, that I would either need to walk or take a bike most places since there are no cars. But when we got to the island, we realized there's tons of taxis. There's horse carriage taxis everywhere. So it was really manageable. It was fine yesterday. Again, we had overcast weather, which is what I loved. So we just walked around. We went to, like, some cool old historic bars. I had mocktails. My husband tried some fun cocktails. We heard live music yesterday. We watched the waves crash. Like, it was just really nice. We went to a super nice dinner last night. I will say my heartburn is back, like, in full force, like, raging back. It's pretty much from the bottom of my chin to my belly button. So that's kind of been the one bummer of this trip. I was excited to, like, eat some fun food. That hasn't really happened. We went to a nice dinner last night, and I got the most boring, like, garden salad with pretty much no dressing because my heartburn is so bad. I barely even got dessert, which is very unlike me. But that's okay. It's just been nice to be here in this cooler weather. My husband said to me last night at dinner, he's like, you just feel like you're, like, carrying something. Like, you feel a little heavy right now. What is it? And kind of with tear-filled eyes, I just said, this is the first time I've ever slept away from our son, and he will be 11 months next week. I don't know if that's normal. I know some people, like, start sleeping away from their babies at, like, 6 weeks old because either they have to travel for work or they want their freedom back. I know other moms that are like, yeah, my son or my daughter is 3 and I've slept away from them, like, never. So I think all these feelings and all these things are normal, right? Like, if you're like, I got to get away from my baby, bye. I totally get that. If you're like, no, I know my son is 3 and I have not left him for the night because I just can't yet. I get that too. This was just my first time. And I went to bed last night and it felt almost like a little bit naked. Like, okay, what am I forgetting here? Like, I felt like I was, like, going out without clothes because I'm just so used to having my son there and, like, having the responsibility of, like, okay, what's he gonna wear? In fact, I am so not accustomed to being without him. I didn't even bring a purse because I'm just so used to having a diaper bag. So the insert of my diaper bag has a little mesh thing that you can fit, like, a pacifier or 2 in, and that's what I have been using since yesterday for my purse. That's how unprepared I am to do anything without my son, which my husband and I both agreed on last night. I need to maybe do some more things without him. Like, I maybe need to go to the mountains with my sister for the night, or, I don't always need to go on a flight and then take a ferry to a remote island, but I probably need, I don't know if the word is practice, but I need to maybe let go of the reins a bit and be without him a little bit more. It's just, the truth is, I don't even think it's a control thing. I just love him so much. He's just in such a fun stage right now. Like, watching him explore the world right now has been such a joy. Watching him see, the big beach for the first time, play in the sand. Yes, he tried to put seashells, rocks, sticks, all the stuff in his mouth. But even then, like, it was just so cute and funny. He's just figuring it all out. So I survived last night, my first night without him. I FaceTimed my sister this morning. Seems like he's doing just fine. He slept fine. Yeah, I'm sure he's excited to see Mama and Dada, but he's doing fine. The Babymoon has been so wonderful. We still have all day today. We're going to go to the Grand Hotel. If you've never heard of or looked up the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island, do it. It is so fabulous. I think it has the longest front porch in the world. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe just in the United States, but it's got this huge front porch with rocking chairs. We're going to go up there. We're going to have a tea, sit on the rocking chairs, look at the bridge. We did not stay there because their like most modest basic room was, I think, over $1,200 for the night. So we opted for a different hotel. We stayed at Mission Point, which it's beautiful. It's at the very kind of one end of the island of where the restaurants and everything are. So you really do kind of feel like, I don't know, I feel like we're in kind of like a little lighthouse. The actual room and the bathroom and that, I'm not going to say is like, oh, it's just so fabulous, but it's clean. It's nice. The bed was super comfortable. It came with 39 pillows, which pregnant is like my number one request when I have to sleep anywhere. I'm like, hi, can you please ensure you drop off 6 pillows for me and 2 for my husband? I need so many pillows pregnant. So it checked that box. It was really nice. I really don't have a lot more to say about the Babymoon, except, again, if you're on the fence, do it. This was a relatively affordable trip for us. I mean, it helps that we are staying with my sister and her family. It helps we didn't have to get a babysitter. Obviously, her family so graciously watching our son. But it's been really nice to go to dinner. We didn't even last night, we really didn't even talk about my son. We laughed about things. We talked about fun trips we had taken together. Like I said, we went to a nice restaurant. My husband ate really good food. I didn't because of my heartburn, but that's okay. I didn't care. I had a beautiful view of the lake, and it's been really nice. Baby shower. That is the next thing on my to-do list, to figure out, am I having a baby shower? If this is your first pregnancy, the answer should 100% be yes. Like, of course. I loved my first baby shower with my son. We did a little theme for it. We did a little cowboy themed. I invited a lot of people. I think I had like almost 40 people at my baby shower, but my husband and I both have, bigger families. We have multiple siblings. I wanted to include aunts and friends, and it was so wonderful. And so many people showered us with love. They showered us with gifts that we still use today for my son. Instead of doing cards, we had everybody bring a book and write in the book something to our son with like a sweet little message. We love looking at the messages from people. We read those books all the time. I did not come up with that idea. I totally stole it somewhere off the internet, but I really recommend that you do that for your baby shower. It was just so sweet and it was fun. And then when he's older, because I'm sure when he's 30, he'll be reading the Bernstein Bears. I don't know. He probably won't care about the notes when he's older. But for now, mom and dad care about him, and they're very sweet. My whole thing now is like, is it appropriate to have another baby shower when truthfully our baby shower was basically a year ago? I think it was on June 3rd last year. Some of the people that were at that shower still have not met my son, Jude, not because I don't love him, but oh man, life gets busy with babies, or because they were traveling or we were traveling. So I definitely don't want to ask those people, hey, come celebrate me again. And this time there's 2 and now bring 2 gifts. And I don't know. I feel a little bit weird about that. So yeah, we're kind of on the fence about it. If you are having a baby shower, now would be a great time to start thinking about your registry. Oh, the registry. I thought with our first son, it was going to take me 30 minutes to build my registry. Hardcore wrong. Took me hours and hours and hours and hours. I reached out to almost every mommy friend I had, and I asked each of them to send me their top 3 must-have items. I didn't put a price on it. I said it could be as little as, a $5 item that you can't live without that they sell at Target. It could be your Mercedes-Benz stroller, your rocking chair, whatever it may be. I really wanted everyone's opinion. And then from there, I wanted to go and research each item. I have the greatest friends that really helped me build my first registry for my son. They broke it down in terms of feeding items we would need, postpartum items, clothing, sleep items, nursery items. It was a lot though. If you've not started working on your registry, I really encourage you start it so that you can take your time with it. We do have a registry, whether we have a baby shower or not, a second one. I decided to create the registry really more as like a checklist for myself so I could make sure I have all the items that I know I'm going to need before these little Twinkies arrive. So I'm happy to share that with the group. I know a lot of it is personal preference. Of course, some people have brands they feel strongly about. For other people, they want no plastic, organic, all cotton, all those types of things. I feel like my registry is a little bit all over the place. I went off of some of like our must-have items from our son, as well as new items that other twin moms have said to me, like, okay, you have to try these. My husband and I both talk about if there was a fire in the house and we each had to grab one item, one baby item, what would it be? Obviously, aside from getting each other any memorable items in our house, what would it be? For my husband, it's our baby brezza. If you don't know what a baby brezza is, there's 2 different types. There's one that warms up the milk. We used this all the time when we were solely breastfeeding my son. It's great. You just plop your glass bottle into this little warmer. You click room temperature, cold, you make a setting, and it heats the bottle for you in like under 2 minutes. The second version of the baby brezza, which is my husband's all-time favorite item, he tells all of his soon-to-be daddy friends, you must buy this. It's like the Nespresso maker of formula. So when your baby starts to transition to formula, which may or may not happen, maybe you're planning on breastfeeding all the way until your babies hit solids. I think that's an aggressive goal with twins, but I am so here to support you if that's your goal. This thing, you just put the bottle under this little machine, literally just like a Keurig or an espresso maker. You hit how many ounces you want and you push a button. The bottle comes out warm. It does the right ratio of water to formula. My husband loves that thing. When we travel, he's literally like, are you bringing the baby brezza? Like the big one, not the little bottle warmer, which I do bring because it's super easy. Like the big formula baby brezza. To which I'm like, no, I think it's cool. I love it. It's not a necessity for me. I don't think it's that big of a deal to take the little scooper, add X amount of scoops of formula, warm up some water, shake it up, and feed my baby. Like, I don't mind doing that. But it is good for middle of the night feedings. It is pretty plug and play. So that's his item. My item that I will not leave the house without if there's ever a fire is our stroller. I love our stroller. We splurged on it a bit. We went with the Uppa stroller, the Uppa Vista stroller. That thing, I love it. My son loves it. I wouldn't go anywhere without it. Like, I truthfully, when we do travel and we have to bring our travel stroller, I'm super bummed because I love this thing so much. It's like the Cadillac of strollers. There are others out there I know that are more expensive than what we spent, which I already thought was a lot of money for a stroller. But I just love ours. I would not settle for a cheaper one. If you're anything like me, you're going to put your miles in with that stroller. You're going to want to get out of the house. You're going to want to walk. You're going to want to cruise around. Now, the tricky part with our stroller with twins is it's ready for 2 kids, like super ready. You could have the bassinet up top, and then our son could be in the front with like an attachment looking out. I'm not sure how it's going to work with twins. In my mind right now, we're going to keep this stroller and we're going to have both babies in the little bassinet portion, and then my son can ride in the front. The bassinet portion is quite large. When we put our son in it, when he came home from the hospital, he felt like a tiny speck of pepper on this huge like platter made for turkey. It's really big. I have full faith that both babies can fit in there. If it doesn't work, we'll move to plan B. I just feel like some of the strollers out there, the double strollers that I'm seeing, they just don't look super comfy. And I'm also like, well, where's my son going? He's not big enough yet to stand and hold on. I've seen those like kind of cruiser ones where the kids can like kind of surf with the stroller. He's not big enough. He still needs a seat and he still needs to be strapped in. If that doesn't work and both babies aren't comfortable in that little bassinet, which, I mean, they're in a tiny little space right now in this belly. So I got to imagine they're going to feel like they've upgraded to the penthouse or they're like at the Taj Mahal compared to my belly. Then the plan is to bajorn one baby, put the other baby in the bassinet, and then keep my son forward facing. Yes, this all gives me a little bit of anxiety thinking about it, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to be stuck in this house just because I will have a 1-year-old and 2 twins. I'm not going to do it. I refuse to listen to those people that we talked about in that episode, 2 babies, too many opinions, that tell me you're going to be stuck in the house, you're never going to get out. No, that is absolutely not true. Where there's a will, there's a way. And this mama is going to want to put the miles in this fall, just getting out of the house for a little bit of a reset. So the registry. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit off topic here. I will link some of my favorite go-to items. I don't have my registry done yet. It's still kind of a work in progress for me, but I have started to just build the list out again as more of a reminder for myself. Another little funny item that's, I think, under $10 that we absolutely love, they're called Wendy's. They're made by Frida. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Frida. I feel like they've kind of dominated the baby scene in terms of little trinkets that you don't really need, but once you try them, you can't live without them because they make your life so much easier, and they're so readily available on Amazon. Everything Frida gets there in like 4 hours. But it's called Wendy the Gas Passer. So it's basically this like little tiny single-use tube that will help the babies get rid of excess gas. Our son was having a really hard time passing gas, probably right around like 6 weeks. We could tell he was just incredibly uncomfortable. So you use this little tube. It has a little rounded tip that you put in his butthole. I don't know how else to say that in a cute way. You put it in his bum, and it helps just pull the gas out. And the baby immediately will like pass a huge fart or have diarrhea and just start smiling and have such great relief. Funny story, when we first got these, it says somewhere on the bottle, or maybe we just knew intuitively, like, okay, we need to put some lubrication around this if we're going to be shoving it in his bum. I was a new mom, right? I'm going to be a new mom again with twins. I never thought the logical thing would be to go get the baby Aquaphor, take that and rub it around the edge of it. No, I used human, like adult lube, which is so embarrassing to admit. But I didn't know. I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. This should work, right? This is a good idea. And then the next day I called my girlfriend, Kylie. And she's so sweet. Kylie, hopefully you're listening to this. She kind of said in a really sweet, loving way, like, that's so interesting. I probably would have used like Aquaphor, but so smart of you to be resourceful. And we both just started laughing so hard because, of course, it's like, of course I should have used the Aquaphor or like the petroleum jelly or something like that. Anyways, Wendy's will be on my list as well. They're cheap. Keep them around. I promise you. Wow, we were like plowing through these things for a few weeks because they're just trying to figure it out, right? They're trying to figure out how to like fart on their own and poop on their own all the time. And yeah, buy them. The last thing I will say about baby showers, and then I'm sure in a future episode I will report back on what we decide to do. Let somebody take the reins if you are going to have them, and let someone shower you. Whether that's someone in your family, a friend, a coworker, let them shower you with love. Make it so that when you arrive, you don't have to do anything except pick out your cute dress, curl your hair, put on makeup, feel beautiful, and just be celebrated. That was the nicest part of our first baby shower. I really just showed up. I didn't do much. Everything was done. Bless my sisters. Bless my mom. They made it such a special day for my husband and I. Such great photos with all of our friends. So yeah, just let someone else plan it for you. Give your opinions if you want theme. Give your opinions on venue. But just let yourself be showered. That's the whole point of this. And especially if you're having your shower as we get further along in our pregnancy, if I am feeling this tired and this big and this just like blah, blah, blah right now, how am I going to feel in 4 weeks? How am I going to feel in 6 weeks? So just my little tip for you. It's called a baby shower, but really the mom is the one that's showered with love, with gifts for the baby, but you should just sit back, feet up, and enjoy this day that is all about you and baby. Okay, now moving on to our final B, our birth plan. This one. I spent so much time on my birth plan with my son Jude, and I kid you not, I did not pull that thing out one single time at the hospital. I knew where it was. I think I had like 3 literally laminated copies in my hospital bag, which we'll get to hospital bags in another episode. I packed so much stuff I did not need, but I didn't really use my birth plan. Now, I partially attribute that to the fact that I had a doula. We did meetings, the weeks leading up to my birth. So between her and Ryan, I feel like they knew the exact birth that I was planning for, hoping for, going after. So maybe that's why I didn't pull out my birth plan, but also nobody asked me. In my mind, I thought I would get to the hospital, I would check in, I would hand over this document. They would review it and then say, okay, now let's move to X room. No, that did not happen at all. But I highly encourage everyone to make a birth plan, even if you don't pull it out at the hospital. Something about the process of making a birth plan, talking about it with your partner, making sure you're both on the same page is really helpful. So I am going to post my birth plan from my first pregnancy with Jude, because I also got some feedbacks that we have some singleton moms listening to this podcast as well. Love that. Hopefully this birth plan is helpful for you. We rehired our same doula that we used with our son. We're meeting in the next 2 weeks. At that point, I'll post our birth plan for the twins because I think it's going to look a little bit different. A couple things to keep in mind if you're considering hiring a doula. A doula is not a medical professional. They do not deliver the baby. When I mention to people that I've hired a doula, a lot of people are confusing a doula with a midwife, and a midwife can deliver a baby. I do not have experience with a midwife, so I can't really speak to that, but doulas do not deliver babies. They are not medical professionals. They don't take blood pressure. They don't do fetal heart checks. They don't do vaginal exams. They don't do any of that. Really, their main role is to provide you with comfort and support. Now, if your husband is anything like mine, when you say to him, I'm going to hire someone, because they're not cheap, I'm going to hire someone to come and provide me comfort and support during the birth of our baby. Your husband, your wife, your partner might say, but that's what I'm here for. I'm going to go ahead and give you my experience from my birth with Jude. Love Ryan more than anything. For this second birth, if I had to choose Ryan in the room or my doula, sorry babe, doula's coming in. They are amazing. My doula was incredible. I do not think I would have been able to have a natural birth had it not been for my doula. She encouraged me the entire time with the right words that I needed. She also stayed really calm, which, to be fair to the partners listening out there, that's hard to do. When you see the person that you love in excruciating pain, or you see them bleeding, or you see the doctor come in and start checking heartbeats rapidly, or you see screens going off, machines beeping, that's a lot. Of course, your partner's first reaction is going to be, okay, we need to help her, get the epidural, or what's going on? Do we need to do the C-section? Where my doula just remained a calm, steady force the entire time. If I had a panic moment, or my husband had a panic moment, she just would stay calm. She reassured us. She just kept this voice that was like so soothing. She also brought like a freaking Mary Poppins bag. I barely remember what was in that bag, but I know she brought some back massagers, some aromatherapy goodies. She brought some dimmed lighting, like some candle lights. You can't bring a real candle in, but like a battery powered candle light. She helped me get in certain positions that helped. When it actually came to the point that I was pushing, she was a huge help in saying like, okay, stop, or take a deep breath, or let's try to rotate this way. Most importantly, towards the end, probably 10 minutes before I actually started pushing and my son came out, because it was a quick delivery, I said, I can't do this. And I started crying. And she just, I get emotional. She reminded me, she said, but you are doing this. Like, look how strong you are. You are doing this. Where my sweet husband was like, it's okay, babe. You've tried hard enough. Let's go get the anesthesiologist and let's get that epidural. And I'm so glad I had her there, just reminding me of what like a freaking lion I was and what a goddess I was. Birth is so damn cool. I didn't have a lot of anxiety leading up to my birth. I stayed really calm. We did birthing classes. We met so many families that were super nervous about birth, which I think is more of the norm. I didn't have that. I didn't have that anxiousness leading up to my birth. But of course, when I got in there, there was so much going on that it's hard not to get in your head, get a little anxious. So I am hoping for the same type of birth with the twins. I'm hoping for a vaginal birth. We're still deciding between natural, aka no pain medication, no epidural, no monitoring, or the epidural. There's a lot that goes into both of those decisions. We're going to do an entire episode just about birth where we can talk about that. But some things to keep in mind while you are creating your birth plan. I highly recommend you call it your preferred birth plan. You can do all the planning in the world, but really it's up to your baby or your babies how this delivery goes. Some things, of course, are in your control. Other things, they're just really not. Some key elements that I included on my birth plan. Who's going to be in the room? That's important to know. I wanted to make sure that the nurses and the doctors knew. I wanted nobody in that room but myself, Ryan, my doula, and then, of course, any medical professionals on their end that needed to come in. I'm really glad I made note of this because I love my family dearly, but we just had some family members just show up. And I was like in the zone. I was like Eminem when I arrived there. I literally had a hoodie on. I had AirPods in when I got to the hospital. I was about 4.5 centimeters dilated. I had sunglasses on. I didn't want to be looked at, talked to. Nothing. I didn't want to have to make any small talk. I knew that I was about to do something very challenging. So that was something, of course, I had talked with my doula and my husband about beforehand. Please make sure you are talking with your partner about who's at the hospital. I think we could have been a little bit more clear on that. I think some feelings were hurt on my birth because some people felt like others were invited, others were not, when in reality, I didn't invite anyone. Of course, people just wanted to come and celebrate the love and share in the joy. But make sure you address that with your partner. One, who is in the room? Even if you get the epidural and you're calm, cool, and collected and there's no signs of a C-section and you're just waiting to be fully dilated, are you okay with other people being in the room? And then most important, who are you okay with being in the room after you deliver? We had a lot of miscommunication on this. I didn't want to see anybody. The only people we let come in was my husband's mom and my mom. even that was like a lot for me in the beginning. I was pretty just like shaken up, obviously in some pain, just trying to figure things out after I just pushed a watermelon out of the tiniest hole. Just make sure you're addressing that so there's no confusion, there's no fighting, no one feels left out. You both know, here's our plan, whether that is a visitor right after the baby's born or 3 days after the baby's born. Just make sure you're addressing that. We will do another entire episode just on the birth plan. I just wanted to start kind of talking about it in here, getting y'all just starting to think about creating one of these, maybe even making a template for it, and just start talking about it with your partner. There's so many options. We're so fortunate to live in a world where you have so many options for birth. Explore those options. Do a little research on your own. There's some other great podcasts out there that talk about different pain management during birth, things with a C-section. There's just a lot of resources out there that talk about what birth could look like if this is your first time and how to be a little bit more prepared. So I suggest you just start to dive into that, as we're not getting closer, but we also kind of are. In my mind, I want to be fully ready for these babies by 30 weeks. I'm not anticipating they come at 30 weeks, but with the amount of noise in my ear from people telling me, yeah, my twins came at 30 weeks, my twins came at 32 weeks, I just want to be fully prepared. I'm planning on these babies staying in there cooking, even though it seems like they are already running out of room, but I just want to be fully prepared. One last thing to know on your birth plan, you are going to have to make a note of who your new pediatrician is. Another thing on the to-do list, start researching pediatricians if you have not already. Make sure they do rounds at the hospital in which you're delivering. If not, and you love that pediatrician, I'm sure there's another solution with the hospital, but just something to start thinking about, because you will need a pediatrician for your little baby. I think their first visit is like the morning after. Our son came at 10:16 p.m. and I think they were one of the first people in the room the next day just to check on the little nugget. Oh, just talking about this. Okay, I am getting really excited. I'm ready to meet them. I'm ready to meet my boys. Let's wrap this episode with a couple little facts about babes at 26 weeks. We're in month 6 of our pregnancy. I'm not going to lie though, I keep thinking and telling people I'm 7 months pregnant, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, on September 6th, they would be 36 weeks. And that's it. Like, that's a wrap. After that, they got to start paying rent. There's no way I'm going to make it to 38, 40. Not going to happen. But we're only in month 6. The babies are growing rapidly right now. They're the size of 2 eggplants. I don't know about y'all, but the bump is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I know those babies are growing. They're growing more fat. They're growing hair now. Their beautiful little lungs are still developing, but the lungs are getting stronger. Baby also, their startle reflex is now working. I have not had this, but they say if there's like a loud boom or there's a loud sound, your baby might react now with movement or hiccups in reaction to that sound. I can't say that I have experienced that yet. I don't think I ever have experienced hiccups in the womb in my first pregnancy either, but I will say they are moving all of the time. Baby A on my right hand side, oh, he's my troublemaker. He's flipping, he's flopping, like all day, all night. He never sits still. I talk to him. I'm like, what's going on? Like, aren't you exhausted? And then baby B on my left-hand side, he's got no room. He's squished. He's like crammed. His brother's hogging it all. But I still feel movements from him. They're just not as big or as drastic. But I'm loving this part where we're feeling their movements. It makes it feel a lot more real. It makes me feel like I'm a mom already to these babies, which of course I'm a mom already, but you know what I mean. Like, I kind of get to take care of them. When they start going wild, I kind of get to rub my belly and say like, it's okay. Everything's okay. All right, friends, that's it. We will be back with another episode soon, and thanks for tuning in. Any questions, let me know.